What a groove. What a groove.
I love that pocket, man.
Yeah. Well, dang. Well, I'm here with none other than the great Vernon Ice Black, playing some of Mariah Carey's Fantasy. Of course, the longtime guitarist for Mariah Carey, Whitney Houston. You play with Jocko. You playing with the Experience Band. You were playing with India Ari. You were playing with everybody, Spice Girls. The list goes on and on and on. And I want to explore more about Mariah. Obviously, Fantasy's one of her huge hits, but you were on a lot of her records all the way back to the beginning. You told me earlier before we started recording that you met her when she was 18 years old. Like, what's Mariah like? What's a Mariah Carey session like?
Oh, it was beautiful. The sessions I did were produced by Narda and Walter Afanasieff was a producer on a couple of those things too. And they were just fun. But you know, that's where all this stuff comes from in the first place, you know, just love and fun. So what a great group of Grammy award-winning, Grammy-nominated individuals, from the engineers, Dave Frazier, Dana Chappelle, Walter, Narda, obviously, of course. It's just a beautiful atmosphere that we just had fun. So those were those days, man. Just all love, man. Randy Jackson, my brother, that's my boy.
Yeah. Those are the spandex days for Randy Jackson, too.
Oh, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Okay. I won't.
He had a style of his own, man. I love it.
He had the blue, black hair and everything. I love that dude, man. All that. He had a style, a vibe, and a huge heart.
Yeah. Can you tell me about like let's say, for example, on the first record that was Emotions, Mariah Carey, what was a session like that like? Was she typically there with you guys? Was she giving you feedback on like what she wanted, or was it like, was Narda mostly doing that, or what was kind of the, I don't know, like the division of labor?
She, like Aretha, like Celine, and even Whitney. Not in the neighborhood, bro.
Really? So would they just have scratch vocals at that point, or was it?
Yes. Yeah. Nikita Germain, who sang background vocals, she was usually the one who, Jenny Tracy, I think, maybe did some things too. The demo vocals. And sometimes there were no lead vocals, no background vocals, no nothing. I'm every woman, that's all in me. Right. With no vocals, man. Right. We just sit in the control room and we heard it in our heads. We felt it in our eyes. And we laid this track, man. Yeah. We laid that pocket.
Yeah. And was this mostly direct at that point, or was this using amps on those types of sessions?
A little of both.
Do you remember what kind of amp you might have used for like Mariah Carey in those days, the early 90s?
Back in the day, man, I was doing the ADA thing.
Okay, so the MP1,
the MP2. That's the one that
you were involved with,
co-designed and
with
stuff.
Old Man Tarnowski from ADA.
Yes, sir, my bro. Yes. And then it was a single rack space size power amp too.
Was it tube or is that solid state?
Oh, tube. We went tubes. That was part of my thing, man. I need tubes, bruh. You know. So but tubes, no, couldn't. Gotta have tubes. Yeah, but they said no, bro, tubes.
Was it this
and
guitar?
We damn did it. Couldn't. She was finally finito. 1982.
Okay, so yeah,
from that point on.
Okay, so definitely on Emotions.
She's every woman. It's the girl, bro.
Yeah. So I want to, if you're willing, I would love to kind of hear kind of how you approached emotions. That's like one of her first kind of breakout hits for Mariah. I think that was 91. Probably the session was a little before that, I would presume. There was more of a gap between production and release back then. Can we do a little of that?
Sure. That's pretty much that single note thing, clean, and a little mute on the.
And when the chorus though, what did you do there? Because there's like more space, and it goes.
Yeah, the chorus. I can't remember the chorus. Can't remember. Those weren't the chords. But, if I was involved, that might have worked. I would suggest that.
Yeah.
But yeah, just go to chords and just clean.
When you were doing, because you did that same song also for the MTV Unplugged, did you have a different approach to kind of how you played it when you were playing it on acoustic?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, I did a little bit of both. The playing the chords. And I would use a thumb instead of pick.
Right.
Just to smooth it out a little bit.
Do you remember what you used for guitar on the acoustic for that?
It was a Gibson something or other.
Was it like one of those Chet Atkins ones that everybody used back then that was basically like an acoustic electric kind of thing?
Yes, I still have electric and nylon. But that's not what I used on the Unplugged. Okay. It was a true...
Okay, real acoustic.
It was a Fat Boy acoustic. I so can't remember which version, which model. But it was
I'm sure we can just reference the music video since all that MTV.
Just look at it and say, "Oh, that's a XY24QR.com or whatever."
Was that all like one take? Like when you're on an MTV Unplugged, is it just one continuous take, or is it a comp of multiple performances and they just choose the best song, or how does it work?
Well, we did everything once or twice. If the first one, if we felt like, let's do it one more time, then we'd do it a second time. Other than that, man, it was pretty much just one and done.
How many rehearsals were there before you filmed the MTV Unplugged with Mariah? Because that's like that and the Clapton one are like the two biggest kind of grossing ones that MTV ever did. I think even higher than the Nirvana or any of those other really iconic ones.
I think if memory serves me correctly, wow, what a concept. What's that? I think we didn't do a lot. I think we maybe have done 3.
But that was pretty much the band that was touring with her at the time, right? So you guys all knew the stuff pretty well at that point.
Yes, we knew each other, and most of us come from right here in the Bay.
All NARDA connections.
All NARDA camp folks, man.
And what about like the next album also, which was featured heavily on the MTV Unplugged, was Someday. Mm-hmm. Was your approach kind of like when you're playing it, electric versus acoustic? Was there quite a discrepancy between your approach, or was it trying to just imitate the sound that was on the record and then on the live performances?
Yeah, not really. Just playing the parts. Again, I played a little more of the chords.
Yeah.
Than like what was on the record.
Yeah.
But still, those single note parts.
Yeah, because it's kind of a similar.
I would play those too.
Yeah.
But he just played because that's the composition.
Yeah.
And composition is king. Period. So we have to, honor the composition. So. So I would play those single note parts.
Yep.
and again, use a pick. And sometimes, quite often, use the edge of the, palm to mute it and that kind of thing.
It's got kind of a
But I
similar
would have to
vibe,
dig in a little more because it is acoustic guitar. You know. If I mute too much, you'd be like...
Yep.
But I would strum more chords and make it fuller that way, and then honor the fact that I'm playing a Fat Boy acoustic guitar.
Can you show us some of that, how you did it, or how you play someday?
Yes, as soon as I learn the song.
Okay.
And pause. And the single note was tight, tuck the verses in. With the acoustic, I would strum it a little more. That kind of thing, just because of the acoustic. That's kind of pretty much.
Yeah. I mean, it's a great. I just like the bounciness of that part. When you would play that and perform it live, would you use compression to kind of get that bounce, or was the
to make it tighter?
Yeah.
Back in the day, I always that was in the rec days, and I had the ADA and part of our design that I pushed with. Dave, listen to me, man. We had compression in the in the preamp. Mm-hmm. We were among the first to do that, compression and tubes, and we won awards for that that dang thing, man. But yeah, the compressor was pretty much on all the time, and just like normal. The more you dig in, the response of the guitar and whatever effects, it reacts differently.
Well, and this guitar has got like the perfect vibe for that. I think it might be a good time to just like talk about like what is this guitar? You have the Hot Rail Seymour Duncans. You have no pickup selector, but all individual push controls. Can you kind of like take us through the hitmaker here and tell us, what this is?
It's my own design, man. Y'all can't steal my stuff, dog. I'm out. Bye. Okay. It's pretty simple, actually, right? I love, first of all, the Strat. We love the Strat sound and that natural out of phase-ish kind of sound that you can get. That
you're definitely using on the Whitney and Mariah stuff for sure.
Yeah, man. I just love that vibe, that thing, right? So that was the reason why I wanted to find a pickup that was shaped like the
traditional Strat pickup thing.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Yes, sir. And then, to learn that Seymour is my favorite. Seymour is my dude, period. He had two double coils, but in the same size.
Yep.
Right, of that pickup. I say, oh, shoot, sold. And, when we plugged them up, put them in, plugged them up. It's like, that's it. So hotrails.com are us or me. So pickup selectors, right? We can turn the guitar off because we can select each pickup individually. There's the neck, there's the middle, and there's the bridge. And all together, you know. Let me explain these guys.
Okay.
Right. These guys, the next layer, level both. Single or double coil. That's double. Single in the bridge, right? This guy is the preamp. It's a little hotter, and this preamp is a little. It adds a little bottom and a little top, like a smiley Q kind of
a scoop
vibe,
mid-range thing. I feel like we talked about Emotions, we talked about Someday, we played Fantasy in the introduction. I want to talk about one more Mariah Carey song, which is a big hit, a classic one. And it's interesting that there is actually a guitar credit on it, although the guitar sounds like a keyboard throughout the entirety of the song, and that's Always Be My Baby. Now, you had to probably play that a million times when you were touring with Mariah. Did you do it with an acoustic or did you do electric?
Yeah, that was with acoustic.
You played acoustic?
Yeah, a steel string.
Uh-huh.
A Fat Boy Gibson. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's probably like a J45 or something like that.
That sounds very familiar.
But it's so interesting. There was like this era in like the 90s where they would use keyboards to do guitar, you know, and the voicings you can always tell.
Oh, yeah, it's definitely a keyboard player came up with this stuff.
Yeah.
Making my job harder. Yeah.
How many years did you play with Mariah?
It had been like 13 years.
13 years.
Man. Yeah, 2003, 2004.
Yeah, that's incredible. That's an incredible run to have with any one of these icons. I mean, I know her sound kind of went more kind of hip hop, R&B, kind of as it got into the 2000s, and a lot of track heavy stuff. And but man, I just thank you, Vernon, for all of your great work with those records and with Narda on those, because they're just such timeless pieces. And you know, to have that staying power with one of the most iconic singers of all time, it's really something. So I really appreciate you for that. But I want to talk about another pop diva that you've also played with and done sessions and done music videos and all that stuff, which is none other than the great Whitney Houston. And the late great Whitney Houston.
My friend.
Yeah, she's an incredible singer, virtuosic, and I think the first song, if my my information research has served me correctly, was actually a song that you did for her for the Olympics, A Moment in Time. That would have been late 80s, right? I think it was that the LA Olympics? I think. Yeah. So what can you tell us about that session?
When I first jumped in, man, I was like, you know, it was and I'm like, give me one. I was all over the place, too.
Yeah.
They said, no, just chuck it in.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was it, you know. And it was like, you know, in the production, it's like layers and, you know, making the composition, just doing what the composition is asking for, you know.
Do you remember where that was recorded?
Where?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it was at an artist's place, Tarpon,
Okay.
in San Rafael.
So it would have been this guitar too, right?
Oh
Yeah.
couldn't.
And were you using still the MP2 at that point, or was it not out yet?
I believe that was still the MP.
Okay.
Yeah. And with the cabinets it was like a Marshall 412 cut in half.
Right, the vertical 212s that had the
with
slant.
the slant.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the
then
carpeted ones.
Yeah, exacto mundo. And I went stereo.
Did you ever have to use a beard trimmer on those? I always used to see techs taking beard trimmers to kind of get kind of how they'd get fuzzy.
You're right. I never did that. But dang it. I wish I had known.
Yeah, if only you knew, yeah.
But there was... I was just playing goose eggs. It was a little heavier maybe than that, with the sound, that is, with the overdrive. And then I did, it's probably a little darker too, so I, a little fatter that way with the neck pickup, double coil.
Okay.
Right, with the preamp, which that wasn't, and now it is. Without, but anyway,
and
then I did another one, just single note, and I doubled Randy Jackson, whatever he played. Whatever he played, I doubled that with the same thing.
And were there any like clean tones on there or pads, or was it
some? that kind of thing. That kind of thing.
Just those kind of pads, as
imitation keyboard pad kind of.
Yeah. Well, that was a huge song. That was obviously ubiquitous because of the Olympics. It got quite a bit of play there, but then also the fact that it was Whitney.
Huge.
How did you get the call for that song? Was that through Narda, or was it they just needed a guitar player and Narda's like, I got your guy? Or
Man, Narda's all over my list of
like credits.
What I've done with these 12 notes and these guitars.
Yeah.
So yes, long answer.
Yeah.
Short story long. Yep. He's the guy, man. He said, "Hey, got a session for you."
Yep.
Okay. Coming.
And was she at that session or what? No. Same.
Man, she was never at any session I ever did for her. But, we hung, but she was never at the sessions.
Yeah. What about so to fast forward a little bit, also another huge record, obviously The Bodyguard. Mm-hmm. Now, Whitney was an actress in the movie as the main character, and then also was singing, and then there was all this great music that accompanied the movie. Those are kind of like, those days are gone. The day of the soundtrack is gone now. But back in the 90s, it was huge. It was the thing. I remember blasting some of these songs. Our babysitter, Veronica Gonzalez, shout out to Veronica. She had a VW Rabbit Cabriolet. My brother and I be in the back seats, and she'd be blasting the Bodyguard soundtrack as we going down Linden Avenue in Carpinteria, California. So I got some good memories of that. But one of them I wanted to talk to you about that you played on was she did a Chaka cover, and I'm Every Woman, and you've also played with Chaka.
Yes.
And she kind of did, a version of that's on the Bodyguard soundtrack.
Yeah,
I'm wondering if you could kind of
song of that track.
Yeah,
that soundtrack.
What was that session like?
That was fun.
Got to use a wah-wah.
That was fun. Yeah, that was the wah-wah track there, man. Louis Bianconello was the second guy producer, second in command under Narda. Most of these sessions I would do, they would just say, got a session, be there at 10, be there at noon, or whatever. What's the song? Oh, it's I'm Every Woman, okay. I think I've heard that before. I know that. They say, yeah, but it's a little different. Louis hits the button. He's already got the new kind of track. It's not that far away from the original, but different. The instruments are playing a little different. Pocket.
Yeah.
Had a little more bounce. A little bit, and the sounds and tones and stuff.
Yeah.
I said, okay, cool. And so we're just listening and vibing. And then, just open and letting as always, man, it's just my thing. I want the composition to speak to me and tell me what it wants. I ain't trying to force anything. And the composition say, hey man, try the wah-wah. Okay, so I tried the wah-wah. And it worked. That song, and quite often, too. I listen to what's there already, especially the drums and the bass. Those are king anyway. Anything on top of that is something on top of. But foundation is king. If there's no floor, there's nothing we sitting on right now. That's the vibe. That's the vibe. For me, anyway. So I'm hearing like boom, 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 and then right. So, and I'm sitting back and just feeling, oh, there's my spot right there.
Yep.
Simple.
Well, the time feel on that is incredible because you're really just like, as you kind of mentioned and before you started playing it, about kind of how you were listening to the song, you're kind of seeing where there were spaces for you to fit, and then you just come in there and you just the wah kind of brings its head up, or the rhythm guitar, and then kind of disappears and then comes back in. It's really, really tasty, really well done. And were there charts on any of this stuff, or was it just like? Just
charts. How do you spell that? C-K? No.
On the Mariah stuff, was there charts?
How do you spell that again? No, we just listened. We played and listened. We listened and we played.
Yeah.
And, for me, that's a good way to do it because you're going directly to those notes and the spirit of the song itself. and it helps you remember it
Yeah.
quicker, easier.
Mm-hmm.
And when you do that, then you own it.
Yeah.
And then when you own it, then you're comfortable with it.
Yeah.
And when you're comfortable with it, well, you can pretty much comfortably do, not only what you feel at any given time in the composition, comfortably and good and precisely, but you're also, last but not least, like we've said before, you're doing what the composition's asking for.
Yeah.
Very well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Too, so.
Well, there's another song on The Bodyguard that was also Narda Michael Walden, obviously, which is Queen of the Night, which is a great song that's in kind of one of the main parts of The Bodyguard, where she's doing an impromptu concert, and she gets accosted by fans in the Bodyguard movie. But it's like a great, like kind of heavier rock sound, Queen of the Night. Do you remember much about that? Was it the same sort of vibe? Obviously this guitar, the ADA. And that was probably again you just in the control room getting some distortion tones.
Yes. With the amp in the control room, and we all, the four of us, I think it was Dave Frazier and Louis and Narda, and I, just going through tones and sounds. And, tweaking this and that, and then, finding the part. And
the guitar sounds really huge, though. It sounds like it's probably doubled in...
We doubled a lot of stuff back in the day.
Yeah.
Even those single note parts.
Yeah.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah.
We doubled a lot of that.
To get it thicker,
sometimes... you might think it's chorus, but it's not.
So it's like kind of just like the flamming that kind of happens.
Just a little bit.
Can we play a little bit of Queen of the Night?
Yes. That's it. It's coming back to me. There was some of that stuff was tucked in.
Yeah.
Some of that stuff wasn't used.
No, you can definitely hear like there's little.
But they come in and then they come out.
Yep. Well, Vernon, I have one last thing to ask you before we complete today. I try to do a thing.
Save the hardest for last. Here we go. Oh, shit. Can I call my mom first?
You won't need to. It's low pressure. But before we complete, I wanted to show you a couple of pictures from back in time. And I wanted you to talk to us about kind of what was going on in those pictures to the degree that you remember, and kind of explain what's happening. So the first of which I would like to show you.
I'm scared.
Is a photo of you here. And and I noticed it's probably one of the only pictures where I don't see you with the hitmaker here. It looks like you got a Schecter or a Jackson or a Charvel or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's a Charvel. I want to say Charvel.
And was this where was this from?
That is from my first meeting of Whitney Houston.
This is a music video shoot?
Music video shoot. So emotional. I get so emotional. My brother, T.M. Stevens on bass. My brother.
Right.
Nardis back there on drums. Greg Glacier / Gigi Gunaway's back there on percussions. And my girl Anna Kampa she gave me that glove. She said, "Hey, you wear a glove. It's really cool."
Right.
I said, "Okay. I hope it doesn't."
How was it holding the pick with that glove?
Crazy. It was crazy, but I did it anyway. You know, like,
some interesting palm muting.
Anything for the team. Right. Let's win. You know.
Do you remember where this was shot?
Yes, that was in. Whitney was on tour, and she had a break, and she wanted to during the break be at home, which was
she in New Jersey?
New Jersey. Yeah. And so
was this like rock
wherever this was gonna be, she wanted it close to her home, but it was shot in Pennsylvania somewhere.
I wonder if it was Rock Lidditz, because that was a big like prep place for big tours and had big kind of like almost like hangars.
Yeah, no, this was a college.
Okay.
In Pennsylvania, not Philly. I can't remember. When I leave, I'm going to remember. But it was in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania.
Okay. All right.
On a college campus. And they filled it up with people, and we did like a show of one song.
Yeah. Nice.
With the track, of course. But
nice. And just kind of miming the whole thing.
Yeah. We played along, but basically.
No amps or live on stage or anything like that?
Yeah.
No, there were. So
yeah, but,
did you bring your ADA for that one?
No.
It's backline to Marshall.
Whatever they had. I just showed up. And all of a sudden they had, okay, here's a guitar.
Oh, so they gave you this guitar.
Here's a glove. You know?
Nice.
And back then, as you can tell, my hair.
Yeah, beautiful.
Grew upward.
Yeah, that was the style then.
Now my hair grows downward.
But I think you actually had a couple of like braids in the back on that one.
No braids.
I thought it was
no locks, no braids.
Well, it was the classic look of the day.
My wife is a stylist. That's her due.
She got you all straightened out before you went?
Hooked me up.
Yeah.
For everybody.
All right, so I got another one for you now.
Oh boy.
Which is you in the great Herbie Hancock. And this is maybe what I was remembering, because you had a little party in the back, business up front.
You said party?
Party in the back, business up front.
I love this guy. It's my new cousin right here.
When I cut my hair, I'm going to do a mullet, just because. But you got Herbie Hancock there.
Yes.
And you got the great Vernon Ice Black. Tell me about this photo.
Oh, man. Woo. I love that dude. Friend.
When do you think this was?
That was, tell you, Umbria Jazz Festival, Italy. And that was after the show. I changed clothes quicker than Herbie did. And I remember hanging out with him late nights. And just hanging. We just walk around together. And just, there was some beautiful architecture. Man, this place was, the city was ancient.
Yeah.
It was this huge like church and cathedral. We just walk up by that thing and just hang and talk and look. And actually Herbie, that night, no, it was the night before, because that's after the show. I think the night or two before this picture, it was about 4 a.m. And he said he hadn't done his evening gongyo. She wanted to come and do it with us, man. And she said, check it out. I said, okay, gongyo, Soka Gakkai Buddhist. I said, yeah, okay. I went and we did it. I'm your holding your coat, man. I've been doing it ever since.
Nice. You think this was 80s, 90s?
That was 94, 95, maybe 95.
And the photo before So Emotional is probably what?
Shoot, that was 87.
87.
Yeah.
And then here's one more for you.
Oh, my other girl.
You and Mariah.
My girl, me and Mariah. We go back like babies and pacifiers.
Yeah.
Your boy ain't no liar. Yeah, boy. Yeah, that's my girl.
When do you think this was taken?
That had to have been 93, maybe. And dare I say, in Cleveland, Ohio, after the show.
Mm-hmm.
I think I remember that. And I was teasing her. I was like, I didn't know you was that tall. I didn't realize. I know you're tall, but you just... And then I was looking down at her shoes. And then I say, like, how tall are your shoes? And she laughed and say, it ain't about the shoes. I say, well, and then I crack some jokes. I don't know if y'all getting to know me already, but I'm definitely the joker. It's about both of y'all.
Yeah.
Y'all go together really well.
Yeah.
But that's my girl, man. Who knew? I think, we had a great run. God, she had a great run and she's still running.
Yeah.
But who knew? I like that fact where, you just do what you do.
Yeah.
Just living and breathing air as a human. And as Herbie says, music is just something we do.
Yeah.
While we're here on the planet trying to be the best human being, we can be, loving and do unto others as, you hope they do unto you.
Yeah.
But who knew, man?
Yeah.
Mariah would go on to be Mariah.
Yeah.
Whitney's Whitney.
Yeah.
I'd even be around them.
Yeah.
And, my lifelong music inspiration, one of the highest, most of all, Herbie Hancock. I end up being in his band.
Yeah.
Let alone end up being his friend also.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Well, you've done some amazing stuff, man.
Yeah, I'm blessed, man.
I'm just so appreciative to you, Vernon, for firstly your contribution to the way that we hear pop music. A lot of that style, the signature sound of the 80s and 90s, the way that a lot of these records sound with these amazing pop divas, you are responsible for that. And so I just really want to appreciate your contribution to music and the inspiration to all those guitar players out there. I really, really appreciate you being here today and being willing to talk to me about your career and just all this this great stuff that could only have come from you.
Well, thank you, man, for the opportunity.
Absolutely.
Welcoming me into, your world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if to complete today, because no words can really bring it to a proper end, if you could play something just to kind of fade us out musically and let the music do the talking. Whatever you're feeling.
I don't know. Maybe I could get my counterpart to come in. Wait, let me bring him in. Okay, he's here. All right. Yeah, I would love to play, man.
Yeah, give us some.
That's what I do.
Give us some.
I'm here to play.